What happens when an artist everyone thought had gone quiet suddenly reappears with something heavy, something reflective, something that feels like a final chapter being written in real time? Sources close to the situation say this wasn't just a casual drop, it was a calculated moment. Because j.cole is officially back, and not in a let me test the waters kind of way. This return feels deliberate, almost surgical. In the first few seconds, listeners are hit with that unmistakable aura, the calm before a storm. And the big question buzzing through the culture right now is simple, but loaded. Is this the beginning of the end, or the moment everything finally clicks into place? Stick around, because the deeper this story goes, the more layered it becomes. Industry insiders whisper that Cole's reemergence didn't come out of nowhere. Behind the scenes, this moment had apparently been brewing for years. Word is, the man has been locked in, quietly obsessing over one body of work with tunnel vision. When the announcement finally hit that new music had arrived and that the fall-off now had a clearer destination, fans felt that jolt in their chest. You know the one? The same feeling you get when the bass rattles the windows before the hook even drops. And here's the twist. The song itself doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't beg to trend. Instead, it pulls you in slowly, like a late-night conversation that starts casual and ends with life-altering realizations. That alone tells you this isn't about chasing streams. This is about legacy. Sources close to Cole's camp say this project has been quietly handcrafted for nearly 10 years. 10 years. Let that sit for a second. In an era where artists flood the market with surprise drops and deluxe after deluxe rollouts, Cole chose patience. The intention? Apparently, to outdo himself, to create the work he felt he couldn't fully execute earlier in his career. The way he frames, it feels almost spiritual. This wasn't just for fans. This was a personal challenge, a test of discipline, endurance, and belief. The kind of challenge that forces an artist to confront every doubt they've ever had. And that's why the title "The Fall Off" hits different. It sounds like decline, but insiders suggest it's really about transformation, about shedding skins and stepping into final form. Now, let's talk about what everyone's thinking, but few are saying outright. Many hip-hop observers believe the entire rollout was reshaped by the seismic clash between Drake and Kendrick. That battle didn't just dominate headlines. It reset the temperature of the culture. According to longtime watchers, Cole's original plans looked very different. There were whispers of side projects, shoes, even a softer pivot before everything snapped into focus. After the dust settled, Cole seemed to recalibrate. The playful detours vanished. The vision narrowed. Suddenly, everything pointed back to the fall off, almost like the moment demanded seriousness. And that's why this new song feels less like a single and more like a statement. A quiet but firm reminder, don't get it twisted. I'm still here. From the jump, the soundscape sets the tone. A soulful sample hums underneath the bars, warm and nostalgic, like vinyl crackling in a dimly lit room. The visuals? Minimal but intentional. The camera movement feels symbolic, pulling away, drifting back, as if time itself is rewinding. Viewers quickly noticed how the imagery mirrors the theme. Roses, coffins, life in motion, but backward. It's not flashy. It's haunting, almost meditative. And that's when it clicks. This isn't just a song. It's a short film about existence, ambition, and mortality. Here's where things get genius. Cole doesn't just rap about his life, he dissects it in reverse. According to hip-hop historians, this technique echoes classic storytelling approaches used by legends who weren't afraid to experiment. Starting with death and walking backward through milestones forces listeners to rethink success. The imagery hits hard. Funerals before births, endings before beginnings. Grandchildren carrying a coffin. Tears before triumph. It's uncomfortable in the best way. And as the verses unfold, listeners realize they're witnessing a man stripping his legacy down to its bones. The question lingers in the air. If everything were taken away, what would still matter? Of course, no Cole release comes without debate. One line in particular sparked instant conversation. The familiar claim of greatness. Hip-hop purists argue that saying "best alive" carries weight, especially in a competitive culture built on confrontation. Some fans feel the timing makes it tricky. Others say confidence is a prerequisite for greatness. Insiders say Cole knew this would land exactly how it did. The line isn't accidental. It's provocative by design. And whether people agree or roll their eyes, the fact remains. It keeps the conversation alive. Love it or hate it, the culture leans in whenever someone dares to claim the crown. As the narrative rewinds further, the tone softens. Cole touches on fatherhood, relationships, and the moments that don't make highlight reels. Watching a child's life reverse back into the womb. A wedding undone. Fame shrinking instead of expanding. These aren't brag bars. They're reflective snapshots. According to those who followed his journey, this is the most vulnerable he's sounded in years. It's a reminder that behind the accolades and debates is a human being grappling with time itself. And if you're feeling that weight too, you're not alone. Drop a comment and keep watching, because it only gets deeper from here. Let's talk craft. The entire track reportedly sticks to one rhyme scheme. No shortcuts, no recycled endings, just relentless precision. Veteran lyricists know how difficult that is, especially while telling a coherent story. This is where even critics have to tip their hat. The pen work is immaculate. It's controlled chaos, every word placed with intention. Observers say this is the kind of writing that separates good rappers from generational ones. Not because it's loud, but because it's disciplined. Longtime fans couldn't help but feel a wave of nostalgia. Echoes of those early mixtape days surfaced. The hunger, the rawness, the belief. Back when uploads felt like events and lyrics felt personal. People close to the scene recall how tracks from that era changed lives, sparked motivation, and created a bond between artist and listener. This new song doesn't copy that energy, it honors it. It feels like a full circle moment, reminding everyone where the journey started. There's no catchy chorus here, no radio bait, just bars stacked on bars. And that choice speaks volumes. In an industry obsessed with replay value, Cole chose substance. Critics are already calling it a complete piece of art. The visuals align, the narrative flows, the concept lands. Even those who nitpick certain lines admit the execution is powerful. This isn't background music, it demands attention. Zooming out, it's clear this moment is bigger than one song. Hip-hop scholars argue that the story of the last decade can't be told without Cole, Drake, and Kendrick. Love them or criticize them, they shaped an era, a time when the culture moved together before everything fractured into niches. And that's why this release matters. It feels like a timestamp, a reminder of a fading monoculture and the artists who carried it. Whether the fall off is truly the final chapter or just another evolution remains to be seen. One thing is certain, this conversation isn't over. If you felt this drop, if it made you think, rewind, or argue with your group chat, make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on. Because the next reveal might just change everything.